Fitness Success, the 4 pillars of achievement. Each week, I alone or with a guest will break down a specific pillar to help you build a balanced, sustainable fitness routine. Week 1, Pillar 1, Nutrition Habits. Master your nutrition and fuel your body for success. Week 2 is all about Pillar 2, Stress Management. Practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. Week 3, Pillar 3, Physical Activity. Tips to stay active and energized no matter your fitness level. And then week 4, Pillar 4, Recovery Measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. This is the 3rd Monday of the month, so our focus will be on Pillar 3, Physical Activity. Tips to stay active and energized no matter your fitness level. Today, let's settle a classic gym floor debate. Cardio or weights? Cardio or weights? Which one's really the king of fat loss and toning up? Now, I know some of you are out here running marathons on treadmills, joining spin cycle cults, or thinking a pickup basketball game, all right, counts as leg day. All due respect, but today we're breaking down 3 reasons why weight training actually beats cardio when it comes to burning fat, boosting your metabolism, and sculpting a body that says, yes, I close deals and jars. Quick question before we dive in, though. If you had to pick only one for the rest of your life, cardio or weights, which team are you on? Which one do you choose? Drop it in the comments. And no, chasing clients doesn't count as cardio. So let's get into it. This recording I'm going to share with you is actually from September of 2021, but all of the info has not changed. It's all relevant. So check this out.
Is your favorite form of cardio? Do you like the cardio equipment at the gym, treadmill, elliptical, bike? What do you do? Do you take group fitness classes, Zumba, kickboxing, step, anything like that? Or do you play a sport, or do you prefer outdoor activities like hiking? Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what your favorite form of cardio is. All right. As far as I'm concerned, I like the Free Climber by Stairmaster. Have you guys ever heard of the the Free Climber from Stairmaster? Let me pull up that piece of equipment and show you, because it's one of my favorites for many reasons. Great cardio workout. Here it is here. All right, the Free Climber. You see, you basically go up and down like you're going up and down stairs over and over again. You can change how fast you go or how slow you go, that sort of thing. I love it because it's great for your glutes, your lower body, and just it really gives you a much better cardio workout, I find, than the treadmill or the bike or even the elliptical. It's one of the more difficult ones. So that's one of my favorites that I like to do. My favorite form of cardio. The other things I like to do, I do like group fitness. Don't really do it very often. Haven't really had a chance, especially with COVID and whatnot. But cardio kickboxing always kicks my butt. That's a good one. Or a step class even will kick your butt too. And then another thing I like to do, besides maybe hiking outside or just general outdoor activities, especially when the weather just changed. It's nice out up here in Massachusetts now. But I like to play basketball, especially full court basketball. That really, really gives a good cardio workout, big time. But anyway, yeah, hit me up in the comments section. I want to know, what do you guys like? What's your favorite form of cardio? All right. Hit me up in the comment section on that. I'm going to get into 3 reasons why weight training is more effective than cardio for fat loss and for toning your body. All right. So before I get into that, though, many people think they should do more cardio for toning your body. And they think about weight training. They just think about building muscle or lifting weights and building muscle. And that's all that's good for. But tonight I'm going to talk to you about how that's not actually true, or it's partially true, but it's not the whole story. So again, I have 3 reasons why weight training is more important. The first reason, overall calorie burning benefits. Okay, so overall calorie burning effects. So I'll break this down for you guys. I'll keep it simple, because you know how I like to keep it simple. All right, so I'm going to give you the cardio point and then the weight training point. Okay, so overall calorie burning benefits. Okay, so as far as cardio is concerned, cardio tends to burn more calories during the workout while you're doing the workout. Yeah, you burn a little bit of calories after the fact, but most of your calorie burn from cardio comes during the workout. But I would be remiss if I did not mention there are a couple of different types of cardio. So when I'm mentioning calorie burns, I'm sorry, cardio burns more calories during the actual activity, during the actual, when you're on the treadmill, you're on the free climber, or when you're doing the cardio, okay? That's steady state. Say you go for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and you kind of stay at one pace and you just, do your time, so to speak, on the cardio equipment. You burn a lot more calories during it than after the fact. But when you do something called high intensity interval training type of cardio, that's when you're doing very high bouts of very intense cardiovascular exercise, and then you slow down and you kind of recoup your breath and get your heart rate back down. Then you bring it way back up again and way back down. Typically people do this in bouts, 5 to 6 bouts. So to give an example of steady state versus high intensity interval training for cardio, steady state, you're on a treadmill, you're just walking, whether that's flat or uphill, whatever the case may be. And you do that for a duration, 30, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever that may be. And that's it. Okay. You burn a lot of calories while you're doing it, just a little bit after the fact. High intensity interval training type of cardio, a little bit different. So same piece of equipment, treadmill. Instead of walking, you are sprinting. So you do bouts of sprints. So maybe you warm up for 3 to 5 minutes at that steady state pace, just a regular normal pace. And then you bring the intensity way, way up by kicking the speed up and sprint for, say, 30 seconds to 60 seconds. And then you bring, after that 30 to 60 seconds bout of sprint, you bring the speed back down to like a nice walk where you can bring your heart rate down for about, say, like 2 minutes or so, and then bring it back up again. Okay, for another 30 to 60 seconds and back down and up. And again, you do that about 5 or 6 bouts. That's high intensity interval training cardio, different than steady state. So to recap, went a little bit off subject here. So overall calorie burning benefits of cardio. Cardio burns more calories while you're doing it, especially the steady state. High intensity interval training, however, you end up burning more calories after the fact. So you have a residual calorie burn. So that brings me to weight training and overall calorie burning benefits. Weight training burns more calories after the workout than actually during the workout, depending on what type of weight training you do, because you can do high intensity interval training with weights too, and have that same high intensity interval training effect as the cardio type. It's the same thing. But typically a traditional weight training workout, you don't burn as many calories while you're doing it. Okay, you're not really out of breath, again, depending on what you're doing. But the calorie burn after the weight training workout is significantly more than a steady state type of cardio. All right. High intensity interval training cardio is very close to weight training as far as after workout calorie burn. So that is the deal with that. Overall calorie burning benefits of weight training are way more than just doing cardio. All right. So that's reason number one why weight training is more effective at fat loss, because in order to lose fat, you have to burn as many calories as possible, right? Well, weight training burns more calories than cardio does in the long run. So that's reason number one. And before I get into reason number two, I want to go over to these comments, see what we got here. All right, so I did ask the question, what's your favorite form of cardio? And this one here, we have, okay, I do kickboxing, hip hop step, combat fitness, fit class. Wow, oh my, that's great cardio right there. Excellent cardio. All right, let me go ahead and get back to where we were here. We are talking, and if you did just join us, I'm going through the 3 reasons why weight training is more effective than cardio for fat loss and for toning your body. All right. And we're on reason number 2. All right. Reason number 2, long-term metabolic increases. All right. And again, I'm going to talk about weight training, and I'm going to talk about cardio as far as these reasons. So long-term metabolic increases. All right. So as far as weight training is concerned, weight training increases your resting metabolic rate. Your resting metabolic rate, all that is how many calories do you burn when you're not doing anything, when you're at rest, when you're sitting down like I am, when you're even laying down sleeping, when you're not doing activity, your resting metabolic rate. Weight training increases that, okay? It doesn't, we already know it increases it because because reason number one that we just went over, the calorie burning effects of weight training, you actually burn a ton more calories after your weight training workout. So after your weight training workout, you're burning calories because of it, even when you're sitting down doing nothing and when you're resting. And that is because of the recovery that happens. When you do weight training, you're breaking your muscles down, they're getting fatigued, and you're doing little micro tears and little positive damage to your muscles. And then after the weight training workout, about 24 to 48, usually about 38 is the sweet spot. About 38 hours after the fact, you continue to burn calories because of that damage you've done to that positive damage you've done to your muscle. All right. So you're burning calories because of the repair process that needs to happen. Your body uses calories to repair that damage while you're sitting there resting. Okay. And even sleeping. So weight training increases your metabolic rate by doing weight training by itself by default. After the fact, you burn calories because of recovery. And then it also increases your lean mass or your muscle. Of course, you weight train, you gain a bit of muscle. As long as you eat enough. Anyway, you eat right. But you'll definitely maintain it. But by increasing your lean muscle mass or lean mass, your muscle on your body, you're going to automatically increase your resting metabolic rate because muscle is an extremely active tissue on your body. It takes a lot of calories to have muscle on you. So any little bit of muscle you can put on you, you're going to raise your metabolic rate at rest. Okay. Day after day, week after week, month after month, that stuff adds up and you just shrink. The fat it comes off. All right. Have you guys ever heard that, oh, guys lose body fat a lot quicker than females? You know, a lot of females are, they don't have as much muscle as guys. You know, guys have more muscle mass on them, so they have an easier time typically losing body fat. That's the main reason why, guys. That's the main reason why males tend to lose body fat quicker than females because of the muscle mass they have on them, because their metabolic resting rate is a lot higher because they have more muscle mass on them. So long-term metabolic increases with weight training. As far as cardio is concerned, okay, cardio can actually decrease your resting metabolic rate. It does the opposite. It eats away at your lean muscle or at your lean mass, at your muscle. And of course, I'm speaking about doing cardio only, just doing a bunch of cardio or putting most of your eggs in the cardio basket when you're trying to do fat loss. You know, what's going to happen is your muscle mass is going to go away a little bit because you're not supporting it with weight training. You need to stimulate the muscle to keep it. If you're not stimulating that muscle and you're expending all these calories doing cardio, eventually you're going to end up losing a little bit of muscle. You will lose some fat too. We'll talk about that in a second, but you are going to lose quite a bit of muscle by just doing mostly cardio. And that's going to lower your metabolic rate because remember, the more muscle you have on you, the higher your metabolism at rest. So if you're chipping away at that, you're chipping away at your metabolism. So when you do mostly cardio for fat loss, what's happening is you're working against yourself. You know, it's very frustrating. So long-term metabolic increases, weight training actually increases your metabolism, and putting most of your eggs in the cardio basket is going to decrease your muscle mass, which will in turn decrease your resting metabolic rate. Okay. And now, before I get into number 3, I want to look at these comments. All right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Great content. And again, I want to know what everybody does for cardio. What's your favorite form of cardio? Let me hear it. Put in the comment section. What's your favorite form of cardio? All right. I'm going to get back to, if you just joined us, 3 reasons why weight training is more effective at losing body fat and toning up your body. All right. And what I'm doing is I'm on the 3rd reason and I'm breaking it down, the cardio portion of it and the weight training portion of it. We're on reason 3, total body reshaping. Okay. Total body reshaping, body composition change, toning. Basically, you're losing body fat, but you're keeping the muscle, which is going to give you nice shape. All right. So as far as cardio is concerned, you lose weight, or cardio weight loss is mostly from both muscle and fat. So you're losing muscle, which is part of your resting metabolic rate. We don't want to lose that. We want to maintain that. And then also fat. So what ends up happening is when you do most of your weight loss, okay, from cardio, you're losing both. So if you're not tight and toned now, you're not going to be tight and toned then either after you lose that weight, because you're losing muscle and fat. You're going to just be a smaller version of yourself. You will be smaller and you shrink a bit, but you're not going to really have that shape. You're still going to be a bit loose, and you're just going to a smaller version of yourself. If you're loose now, you're going to be loose then, okay? Less fat and less muscle, but still loose, not tight and toned. Okay, so losing most of your weight through cardiovascular activity is going to make you it can make you skinny fat too, if you ever heard that term. All right. As far as weight training is concerned, for total body reshaping, that's where it's at, because weight training maintains your muscle, your lean mass, while decreasing your fat at the same time. I mean, that's what we want, and that's the definition of toning, because when you lose weight from fat, but you keep muscle on, or even build a little bit, you're going to become not a smaller version of yourself. You will a little bit, but you'll be a tighter toner version of yourself. So you're melting the fat off and the muscle staying there to be revealed. That's the definition of toning. If you don't have muscle to begin with, all right, there's nothing to tone. But if you have muscle to begin with and some fat on it, and then you go do mostly cardio, you lose muscle and the fat, you don't get that tone. The shape isn't there. You just become a smaller version of yourself and still lose. Weight training maintains that muscle that you have on you, helps you melt the fat off, and then you get that tone look and that nice shape. All right, so that's huge right there. That's the way that works. And then I have a bonus point for you guys. I'm not hating on cardio, because you don't want to hate on cardio. Cardio is like the cherry on top. Okay. When you got to have a good balance, and a good balance is, mostly weight training. For most people, maybe 3 to 5 times a week, typically 3 to 4 times a week, someone doing some sort of weight training workout. And then for cardio purposes, maybe a couple times a week. And remember, you get more calorie burn from high intensity interval training. That's that whole sprinting on the treadmill for about 30 to 60 seconds and slowing your heart rate down by walking for about 2 minutes, then bringing it back up doing those bouts. That's a better form of cardio to lose body fat. So if it was me, I would do the 3 to 4, days a week of weight training to maintain, even build a little bit of muscle. Okay. It's going to raise your resting metabolic rate, because when you do those 3 to 4 weight training sessions a week, after the weight training is where the real calorie burn happens. Okay. And then you are left with the muscle on you, or a little bit more, and the fat goes away. You get nice and toned. But again, I am not hating on cardio. Cardio has its benefits. All right. If it was me, I would do 3 to 4 times of weight training a week, and then I would go ahead and do maybe 2 or so cardio, and switch it up. Maybe do high intensity one day of the week, one of the 2 days, and then another day you do some steady state. Maybe you do some interval training on a bicycle, where you do bike sprints, and then you do the next time you take a class the next time, like a step or Zumba or something like that. Switch it up. 2 days of cardio, 3 to 4 days of weight training is a better prescription for fat loss and toning, is my point. But again, I'm not hating on cardio. There's health benefits to both cardio and to weight training. Cardio benefits, cardio is better for your heart and lungs than weight training is. All right. The cardio, your heart and your lungs obviously work a lot more in a cardiovascular type of workout. All right. So that is going to up your health as far as your heart and your lungs. And that's very important. All right. Very important for you. You should strive for whole fitness. Okay. And that's part of it. So cardio is way better for your heart and lungs. All right. That's a huge benefit for cardio. Benefit of weight training, or some benefits of weight training. All right. They're better for bone density. That's why you see a lot of older individuals, even seniors, doing weight training for a while now, because it's been known that, well, it is known that bones actually flex. Okay, bones flex. And when you do resistance or weight training, you're putting pressure on those bones and they flex. And when they flex, they adapt by becoming more dense. Just like when you lift weights, your muscles adapt by becoming stronger and a little bit bigger. All right. Well, when you do weight training, your bones flex and they become more dense. So it's an excellent resource, or it's an excellent activity for older people and seniors to do for preventative maintenance for osteoporosis. Okay. Get those bones flexing, safely though, but get those bones flexing, so to speak, to build up that bone density. So that's one major health benefit of weight training. Another benefit or health benefit of weight training is overall functioning in everyday life. You want to stay strong. You want to be able to do things like when I'm 44, when I get into my 50s, 60s, and even 70s, I want to maintain some sort of strength, some level of baseline of strength going into those years, because it will help you function better. Your mobility, your flexibility, all of those things. When you weight train, you work on all those things. So if you consistently weight train, 3-4 times a week or whatever, all the way into those later years, you're going to function better. You'll be able to run around with the young kids, or you're not going to be dependent on other people. You'll still be independent as opposed to dependent. That's one of the major things. So weight training and cardio both have major benefits. All right. So don't hate on cardio. It's just, put most of your eggs in the weight training basket if you're trying to lose body fat and tone. That's the point.
Wow. That was from 2021. That was about 4 years ago. Do I look any older? I can't tell. Anyway, so what's your favorite form of cardio? Free climbing like a ninja, kickboxing your stress away, or pretending you're still 22 on the basketball court like me? No. Look, cardio has its place, but if you're trying to torch fat, tone up, and still have needs that work when you're showing 3 properties in a day, weight training's your best friend. Remember, cardio might help you lose weight, but weight training helps you look like you did it on purpose. And let's be real, as entrepreneurs and real estate pros, we don't just need energy. We need boss level stamina, mental, physical, and sometimes emotional, especially when deals go sideways, right? So lift heavy, close deals, and stay strong enough to carry that commission check. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it moving, and above all else, keep it real, especially when it comes to your fitness. That wraps up today's fitness success segment. Next Monday is week 4, so we'll be discussing pillar 4, recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. Want to join the conversation as a guest or have your questions featured on the next episode? Just drop a comment below. Yes, even if you're watching the replay. Let us know and we will make it happen.